See? Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua, he looks like a superhero.
Would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah.
I've been that guy. While you was at home doing this, I was in the club making moves. Slow whining with your future wife.
Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul recently had a heated exchange on Instagram Live. After Paul called him out for a fight, Joshua responded confidently, making it clear that while he's open to stepping into the ring, his primary focus remains on his own career. Unlike many fighters who thrive on verbal battles, Joshua dismissed the idea of engaging in trash talk, stating, "I'm not a talker like that." His calm and professional demeanor showcased his preference for action over words. While acknowledging Paul's challenge, Joshua remained composed, signaling that he isn't interested in unnecessary drama but is always ready to prove himself in the ring.
Good luck to him, man. Do your thing. I'm gonna do mine. He's gonna do his. What more can I say? I don't really need to talk. I just do what I do. I don't really need to. I'm not a talker like that. I'm not a talker. I handle my business. That's what I need to know. You tell me in America what type of vim do I need to bring? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this and that and that and this. Trust me. I'm from the UK. We stand on our business. I'm standing on my business. I'm gonna handle mine. I've never seen someone win a fight via mental games. Like the way you win a fight is by punching someone more times or punching someone harder than the other person. So it's here nor there.
Eddie Hearn has reinforced the idea that Anthony Joshua is always prepared to take on any opponent. Hearn revealed that Joshua himself has assured him of his readiness for any challenge that comes his way. The statement solidifies Joshua's reputation as a fearless competitor who doesn't shy away from any fight, no matter who stands in front of him.
Sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, like, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'd do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, you know, the only thing that was disappointed was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, you know, LA Olympics for the surfing 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning. He went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah. But he might do it. He might just do it.
Hearn has further emphasized the high level of danger involved in facing Joshua. He boldly stated that anyone considering a fight with Joshua should probably secure insurance first, highlighting the sheer risk of stepping into the ring against him. With his unmatched power and skill, Joshua remains a formidable force in the heavyweight division, making it clear that any opponent must be fully prepared for a grueling battle.
Hearn responding to Jake Paul's call out of Anthony Joshua by stating this. He states, Joshua would fight anyone anytime, but warn Paul about the risk. If Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. And let me counterpunch. Eddie Hearn responding to this just confirms that this fight could actually happen. Because, you know, Eddie pretty much, you know, calls the shots. He makes the play. You know, Anthony Joshua's interested. Now, Eddie Hearn is stating that he's interested. So that means, you know, hey, why not wait? Why wait to 26? Why not this year in 25? And that means that he is very comfortable with putting Anthony Joshua in there with Jake Paul. And if I was Eddie Hearn, people, counterpunching this statement, I would too. Because this is, to me, again, like I've told you guys before, when Jake Paul called out Anthony Joshua, I think he overstepped himself.
While Eddie Hearn has expressed enthusiasm about potential matchups for Joshua, he has also pointed out Jake Paul's history of financial disputes and fight negotiations. However, despite past controversies, Hearn appears willing to look past these issues due to the substantial money Paul is offering for a potential bout with Joshua. This financial incentive seems to be a key reason why Hearn is even entertaining the idea of this fight.
Eddie will call Eddie on camera saying, look, man, business is business. Business is booming. Nigga, if I'm in third place and I'm getting paid all this, nigga, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Third place it is. Y'all tripping off this shit, not me. I'm good. And Matchroom is motherfucking eating. And Matchroom eating. I'm doing good and Matchroom is eating. So, shit. But it seemed like he was butthurt when he said it because his voice was still cracking like he was gonna cry when he said it. You know what I'm saying? So, why wouldn't Jake Paul reach out to Eddie? Hey, man, look, man, we could draw up a deal, man. We could draw up a deal and I'll give you $50 million too. You know what I'm saying? I can give you $50 million for AJ.
But hold on. So you made me just think about something. Salute to my boy Brent Fox coming through. If Eddie Hearn does this with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, would that be like the ultimate betrayal from Eddie? Or is it all like fair game?
Jake Paul has fired shots at Eddie Hearn, calling him two-faced and accusing him of acting friendly in public, while behaving differently behind the scenes. Paul has had a complicated relationship with boxing promoters, and his latest remarks reflect his unfiltered approach to discussing the business side of the sport. This latest jab adds another layer of drama to the already intriguing discussion surrounding the possible fight between him and Joshua.
Snake guy right there. What do you mean he's a weasel? Man, I don't even know where to begin with him, but he's very two-faced. You know, I think off camera, he's like on your side, like, man, you do well, I love what you're doing actually, and like I really respect it, and blah blah blah, and you're gonna take this a long way. And then the cameras come on and he's like, you're not that good, da da da, saying all
so he's selling
stuff.
he's selling.
Like a backhand, it's like a backhanded compliment, or a backhanded diss. Like the way he words it and shit, he's like, oh, you're average. Well, average isn't that bad. Well, Eddie, what if I called your wife average? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Anthony Joshua has already proven himself by stepping into the ring with some of the most elite fighters in boxing, including the highly skilled Alexander Usyk. Known for his technical brilliance, Usyk managed to defeat Joshua twice, pushing him to his limits. These fights were a true test of Joshua's resilience and determination, proving that he never backs down from a challenge, regardless of the opponent's caliber.
The belts were finally out of my possession, which I was expecting to win. It just kind of tore me apart, and that's raw emotion live on your screen. Obviously, looking back, could I have dealt with things better? Yeah, of course, but at the time that wasn't the priority. It was just outpour of emotion.
There are so many athletes we're seeing across gymnastics, cricket, rugby and football that have taken time out of their sport to deal with their mental health before coming back in. Did you at any point in that period think, I need to take an extended break away from boxing before coming back in? It
wasn't the fact I needed to take a break. You know what it was? I actually watched a lot of like fighters, they've taken time out of the game for those reasons as well. And I think, okay, if they've done it, I should be doing it. But I got to look at myself as an individual. And what it is, I feel like if I take time out, I'm letting everyone catch up. And I want to be ahead of the game.
Joe Rogan has long admired Anthony Joshua's impressive physique, often comparing his build to that of a superhero. Rogan has frequently praised Joshua's incredible strength, discipline, and rigorous training regimen, emphasizing how his physical prowess sets him apart from other boxers. To Rogan, Joshua's superior athleticism is a major factor in his success inside the ring.
Today, if you look at like Anthony Joshua, who's the heavyweight champion of the world now,
is he?
You look at him, yeah, he's a English fellow. He's a tank. I mean, he's a. Is he? Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua. He looks like a superhero.
Do those guys have as much stamina as these guys do, though?
Oh yeah, they do today.
They did?
Yeah, because the conditioning methods that they have today are just so superior. They understand rest and recovery, and they monitor your heart rate, and you know they're monitoring lactic acid buildup.
In a recent podcast episode, Joe Rogan playfully speculated about Jake Paul's ambitious plan to fight Joshua in 2026, with a hint of sarcasm. Rogan joked that the long preparation period might be because Paul wants enough time to load up on all the steroids before stepping into the ring against a former heavyweight champion. This humorous take underscores the skepticism surrounding Paul's readiness for such a massive challenge.
Boa guy though, holy man. The way he took out Anthony Joshua.
I know.
Jake wants to fight Anthony Joshua now?
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now? He's like, no, I want to wait till 2026. Like, okay.
To put on weight?
Put all the steroids, every steroid they have.
I would watch. Here's the thing. I would watch
venom.
it.
Oh, by the way,
Scorpion venom.
Rollo reached out to me, John Rollo, my boy, and he sells this blue scorpion shit. He wants to get you some, Gordon.
I'll have some.
All right, I'll have him send you some.
Get on
I'll
Scorpion.
Take quadruple doses, like
we'll see what happens. I'm gonna start slow. I'm gonna find out if I get poisoned.
Yeah, just.
What the fuck are we doing? We're drinking venom from scorpions.
That is weird.
That's weird. He's got the dopest.
Shannon Sharp has weighed in on the potential matchup between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, bluntly stating that Joshua is simply too big for Paul. Sharp, along with many others in the boxing world, believes that the fight would be an unfair mismatch, questioning whether Paul has what it takes to handle an opponent as strong and experienced as Joshua. This prevailing skepticism raises doubts about whether the fight would be anything more than a spectacle. The ongoing discussions surrounding a potential Joshua versus Paul showdown continue to stir excitement, but whether the fight will ever materialize remains uncertain. One thing is clear: if Jake Paul truly wants to face Anthony Joshua, he'll have to prove that he's ready to step up to a whole new level of competition.
We talk about the elites at their craft. It's not going to happen. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jake fought the closest,
Tyson Fury, brother.
Tommy Paul, the closest person to actually,
Tommy Fury.
Tommy. If you want to challenge someone with the one loss you have. Take him out.
Jake Paul's habit of calling out legendary fighters has left many boxing fans frustrated. Critics argue that Paul is more focused on generating hype and attention than proving himself as a serious contender in the sport.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I know
he just got knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this I want to fight you. I will beat Canelo.
Stop the tape now. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The thing I respect about Jake Paul is his strategic selection of opponent. The retired NBA player, the mixed martial artist who does not specialize in striking, and a almost approaching 60-year-old Mike Tyson. But Anthony Joshua's skills are 1,000 light years ahead of Jake Paul's. Anthony Joshua, Mr. 28 wins, 25 knockouts, 4 losses. Anthony Joshua has been in the ring with real fighters. His resume speaks for itself. I just have one thing to say. Jake Paul, you can't play boxing. Trust me, just stay in your lane.
His latest challenge to Anthony Joshua has been met with widespread skepticism, with many doubting whether he genuinely intends to follow through. Paul's ambitions don't stop at Joshua. He has also expressed interest in fighting MMA superstar Conor McGregor. Paul claims that his boxing skills are improving while McGregor's abilities are declining with age. This move is yet another example of Paul targeting high-profile fighters to increase his visibility in combat sports.
Done. I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older, and I'm only getting better.
Jake Paul has also mentioned a desire to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, but the significant weight difference between the two presents a major challenge. Davis is a lightweight, while Paul competes at a much heavier weight class. If Paul were to take on Davis, he would need to undergo a drastic weight cut, which could make it difficult for him to return to his natural weight for a future fight with Joshua.
Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition match was going to take place after the Lamont Roach fight until Tank drew with Roach, leading to a rematch. Now, I'm going to say the unpopular opinion here, but the size difference would have been way too much. I mean, even if Tank brought Jake down to 190 or 200 pounds, he would have still been way too big. I mean, no matter how good a lightweight is, they would have almost no chance against a cruiserweight or heavyweight ranked top 200 in his division. And I'm sure people are going to bring up Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, but Logan is just not a good boxer relative to Jake. You know, Jake's been training for a couple years. He's had over 10 pro fights, and Mayweather was also junior middleweight in this fight, not in lightweight like Tank. But that being said, I'm glad Tank and Jake isn't happening. You know, it would have been a fun spectacle, but I'm not the biggest fan of the exhibition stuff. And instead now Tank and Roach will be rematching in June. You know, the first fight did a little over 260,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't bad in this market. Roach absolutely deserves a second fight, so I do think the rematch will do far more numbers. And as for Jake, I want to see him fight big-name boxers around his weight class. You know, the Tommy Fury rematch, for example, he's undefeated. The first fight did a little over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He's around the same age range, so that's the fight I want to see, not the exhibitions. But let me know what you guys think.
One of the biggest criticisms of Jake Paul's call-out of Anthony Joshua is that Paul has already lost to Tommy Fury. Fury, a relatively inexperienced boxer, managed to defeat Paul, raising doubts about whether Paul is truly ready to face a world-class opponent like Joshua. This loss has fueled further skepticism regarding Paul's actual boxing abilities.
Got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. You know what? I want this to happen just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP in Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers even though he lost to Tommy Fury is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out? I'm saying 5 seconds.
There have been rumors circulating about Anthony Joshua possibly considering retirement, especially as he has battled injuries. However, despite these speculations, Joshua has made it clear that he remains committed to his boxing career. He has stated that he has watched his idols reach the peak of the sport, and that he intends to keep pushing forward. Shannon Briggs has also weighed in on the topic, saying that Joshua should never stop fighting. Briggs believes Joshua still has unfinished business in the sport, and that quitting too soon would be a mistake, reinforcing the sentiment that Joshua has more to achieve in boxing.
Most recently, we've seen Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua not so long ago. I want to ask you about the heavyweight picture at the moment. Daniel Dubois, the rise of him. We're not sure what Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder's going to do next. It's in a good place because there's undisputed fights happening. There's another rematch around the corner. What was your first of all take on the Dubois versus Joshua fight and Daniel Dubois' coming out party, if you like?
I thought it was like a lot of people, I was shocked. I thought Anthony would win coming off the big knockout against Francis, but Dubois has always showed me, and again, I got to tell you, I was wrong in my judgment of not knowing. I seen him early in his career, and I thought it was, pretty much basic, but what he showed me more than anything is the fact that he has a determination and a will like no other man. I remember after taking my first loss, I went into deep depression. Here this man bounced back from the Joe Joyce loss. He bounced back from the Usyk situation. He's always bounced back, and he went into the Joshua fight, confident and strong, and did his thing,
Yeah, for sure. What do you think Anthony Joshua should do next? People are saying 50% are saying retire, 50% are saying carry on. What do you think?
For Joshua, continue on forever. Why ever stops? Don't stop it. Look at Mike Tyson, 58 years old, fighting Jake Paul next week. 58 years old. Why would Joshua stop? Why would if Fury was to lose, he'd never stop fighting. These guys should never stop fighting. That was the biggest mistake. Listen, in this day and age, as long as you're not getting hurt, if you're not having brain damage, why stop? If you win some, you lose some. You know what I'm saying? Keep fighting, because when you can't stop, when you stop fighting, you really stop fighting.